Hi, I'm Susan with Town Center Realty Group. Welcome to Home Tip Tuesdays. Welcome to another episode in our home buyer series on Home Tip Tuesdays. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about writing an offer. So far, you've already met with a real estate agent, you've spoken with a lender, you've looked at houses, and now today we're going to write a contract. So you want to write the best offer that you can write. These days, homes are selling for like 101% of sales price. So in order to find a home that you want, you're probably going to have to write over list price. Now, if you're not comfortable with writing over list price, then I suggest you probably go down a little bit on price, because if you want a property, you're going to have to bid over list because there's so many offers and the market is extremely competitive because everybody wants to take advantage of these low interest rates while they're still low. So when you come to write an offer, like I just said, you want to write the highest price that you possibly can. You also have three contingencies that are major contingencies within the contract, and these contingencies are to protect you. So what you want to do is you want to protect your earnest money deposit. Now, the earnest money deposit is typically going to be 3% of the purchase price. It doesn't have to be 3%. There's no rule stating that it needs to be 3%. But in order to write your best offer, you want to have 3% in escrow. And the reason for that is there's a thing called liquidated damages, and that states the seller cannot go after the buyer if there's any type of dispute for any more than 3%. So it's really helpful if that money is sitting in escrow. Now, you do have contingency periods. So what these are is if something doesn't go the way you want it, you can back out. Not just anything, there's three main ones. So the first one is an inspection contingency. So in California, you buy property in as-is condition. All right, how the property is how the seller is going to sell it. But it is subject to an inspection. So what you would do is you would hire a physical inspector or perhaps a sewer inspector, chimney inspector, roof inspector, whatever additional inspections the physical inspector suggests, or just any inspection the buyer wants. You can have those inspections. And the purposes of those are so that you can find the condition of the home. It's not so that you can have the seller completely fix everything in the home so that you're getting a brand new home. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is so that you know what you're buying. So you'll have all these inspections. Typically that period is 17 days, which is the default in the contract. But many times buyers are going to, or not buyers actually, sellers are going to counter back and make that time period shorter. Maybe 14 days, 10 days, even I've seen even 7 days. So you'll have that time to do all your inspections. Now, if you see something that you don't like, you can ask the seller, hey, could you fix this? Let's just say, for an example, the roof needs repair. It's got a bad roof. Roofs are going to cost, let's say, $10,000. I'm just making these numbers up, so just bear with me. If the roof costs $10,000, you could ask the seller to repair the roof or to credit you $10,000. Now, the seller then will look at that report and look at your request, and they'll say one of the following. They'll say, sure, I'll fix the roof, or they'll say, yes, I will credit you $5,000, or maybe I'll credit you $10,000, or whatever they want to credit you, or they don't have to do anything because the home is purchased as is. So the seller has no obligation to fix anything. So they'll make their request, they'll bring it back to the buyer, and let's say they say nothing, you're buying it as is. They'll throw the offer back to the buyer, and then at that point in time, the buyer can either decide, you know what, I'll take it. I really love the house. I love the neighborhood. I'll take it. Or at that point in time, the buyer can say, you know what, the house is going to cost too much to make these repairs. I'm going to cancel. And if they cancel, they can then get their deposit back. Next contingency is appraisal. Now, because most people are putting 20% down these days, the bank owns 80% of your home. So they're not just gonna throw money at you. They're gonna wanna do an appraisal to make sure that that property is worth the amount that they're gonna lend it to you for. So if the property does not appraise, You again would go to the seller. First thing the buyer's going to do is try to renegotiate the price. Let's say it's for sale for $500,000 and the appraisal comes back at $480,000. So first thing you're going to do is let's try to renegotiate that price and see if we can sell it, if we can purchase it for $480,000. Or you're going to just decide to put, I'll put the extra $20,000 down, so you can put more money down so that you can, come up to the price that you need to be. Or at that point in time, you can also cancel and get your deposit back. So again, the seller is under no obligation to reduce that price. So it's up to you if you still want to continue. And of course, the third major contingency is your loan contingency. If for some reason you don't qualify for the loan, you can still cancel and get your deposit back. So you want to make sure before you remove a contingency, you need to make sure that you're ready to remove that contingency, because once you remove these contingencies, then your deposit could be in jeopardy. So I really suggest, no matter what state you're in, you actually get a copy of the purchase agreement that you're going to be signing and read through it, go through, highlight, ask your realtor any questions that you might have about the contract before you sign it. These days, everybody signs electronically and nobody reads anything. So it's really important that you read the contract and you know what you're getting yourself into. All right, please comment, like, and subscribe to our video, and we'll see you next week. Bye.